Hello all my dear students and welcome to Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. I'm Amit Ajmani. I hope you all are doing good. So what we are going to do today? In today's class, we'll be taking up note making. Note making you already must have done in your previous classes, in which we saw that a particular passage was given to us and we were supposed to do the note making. Now in this topic, after doing the whole chapter, what exactly being a learner you will be able to learn. You will be able to listen to lectures or read the texts of varied lengths from a wide range of subjects, and you will be able to analyze them critically. You will be able to develop a basic understanding of what exactly note making is and what are its uses. You will be able to use various techniques of note making. There are various techniques like linear note making and non-linear note making, which you will be learning in this chapter. And after taking up this chapter, it is going to improve your comprehension and retention of material through accurate and meaningful notes. The purpose of this note making chapter is to develop excellent review and reusable resources. Through this, you should be able to skim, that is, going through the text quickly to identify the main idea or as to what exactly is the theme of the passage which is given to us. You will be able to scan for details, looking at all the parts of the passage carefully. You should be able to differentiate as to what exactly are the main ideas and what are the supporting details of any passage. Then it makes it possible sifting through the given material to identify the most important details of the passage, right? After going through the passage, you should be able to provide an appropriate, a suitable title for the given information or the text, and you should be able to categorize the information which you have gathered under suitable headings and certain subheadings. So, after the chapter, we should be able to present whatever information is given to us in the form of notes using appropriate format. For this, we will learn how to use various symbols. We will try to use the various abbreviations and acronyms while making notes so that it should save our time, which is one of the most important purpose of note making. After making notes, after using the various symbols and abbreviations and acronyms, finally notes are formed, and after that we will be summarizing the notes in as few words as possible, conveying the whole detail, whole meaning of the passage. This is what we are going to learn in this chapter, and this is what we should be able to do after doing this chapter. So let us start up with note making. What exactly is note making? Note making is a very essential study skill. It is a skill how to make notes. Among the most important measure to achieve excellence in academics is making good notes, because you cannot learn each and every word, each and every sentence, each and every line of any particular content of any particular theoretical chapter. So how well you make notes of that chapter will decide how well you will be able to actually learn it. And after making notes, you will review them regularly in order to maximize your learning. So after making notes, you don't have to go through each and every sentence of the passage or the page or the chapter, right? Now, if we go as per the dictionary definition, what exactly is note making? As per the dictionary definition, note making is the practice of recording information from another source. Now, these sources can be any. It can be a book, it can be an event, a meeting, or a general oral discussion. So this note making is actually we are recording information from any other source in our own words, right? And why note making is essential? It is essential because it is very useful as going through bulky documents, whether it is a hard copy or a soft copy, or listening to the long lectures, attending so long conferences, and after doing this trying to remember what was being told or advised or preached, it is very hectic, very tedious, very difficult. So note making becomes very useful. Moreover, it has become imperative that the skill of making good notes should be developed in a world where is an explosion of information. We have got so much of information, right? So in order to relate, in order to differentiate between what exactly is vital, what is important, what is unimportant, we need to learn the skill of note making. Another purpose, another reason why we do note making, that is we all have a scarcity of time. We don't have that much time to go through all the information that is available because that information is vast. So making brief notes with filtered and relevant information, it offers a lot of convenience. After making notes, we are able to just skim and scan through the available sources and make notes of the desired knowledge in a form which is not only easy to write but easy to read and also less theoretical. And that is why we make notes. There are so many advantages of making notes. One of the main advantages that after making notes, the learner can form a pattern that he or she is comfortable and familiar with. Why so? Because you are making the notes in your own way, in the way which is easy for you to relate or to learn. So this is the most important advantage. Another advantage is that these notes are in the form of useful records that you have kept for all the important points that you have read or heard, so that in future also you can use them. They will help you in writing in a more organized and planned manner. Why? Because you can always refer to the information that you have in the form of your notes. This note making also helps in organization. Why and how? Because it is going to help you to rearrange and remember the notes in a different order. You can arrange it as per your own convenience, right? Making notes, this process is highly effective and it is all about making sense of the material in a manner that is personal and individualized. Therefore, it ensures a better understanding of the text, because unless until you understand the text, you will not be able to comprehend it, you will not be able to make notes of it. Also, this is going to help the learners master the art of learning volumes of text quicker, and it aids in saving time while revising, especially before exams, because then you don't have that much time to go through each and every particular sentence. You can see for yourself while I am teaching, this was the whole paragraph containing these 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences containing all these 10 to 12 lines. But in these, we are just underlining and marking, circling only a few sentences which are important, which contain the crux, which convey the actual message of all these lines. So this is exactly how notes are prepared, right? Because you don't have that much time that you will go through each and every line. We have circled only maximum 15 to 20 words. These 15 to 20 words are basically sufficient to understand these 15 to 20 lines. This is what note making is all about, and this is what effective notes bring the change. You don't have to spend so much of time. Clear? Now, in this chapter, we have got a few different styles of note making that we are going to study, because it is as per the convenience. So there is no actually fixed way as to how an individual person can make notes, right? It is just a brief idea in order to help you as a student, so that you should actually learn the different styles and do accordingly in your future life in order to make things convenient for you. There are certain sample notes and practice exercises that have been included that we'll be discussing in order to have a better understanding, right? And important thing is this point: for academic purposes, when you are going for your exams, then there is a specified format and a fixed style that we need to follow, right? So this is what we are going to do. We are going to follow the given template to keep our notes in the standard form and in order to make them readable and understandable. Fine. Now, what are the strategies we are going to follow for effective note making? This is quite important. Please make sure that you try doing these strategies. First thing, you should read the text at least twice. Why so? The reason is, when you are reading off for the first time, you will just get an overview of the main idea. You will be able to identify the main idea, and you will be able to relate what the passage or the text is all about. And when you read it the second time, then you can draw the important points, because you have already read the passage, so you know what the passage was all about. You will be able to relate better what all are the main points and what are the supporting points given. After that, frame a heading or a title which depends on the main idea conveyed in the text. Now, whatever heading or title we are going to give for this text, it should be short. Try to avoid using long sentences as a title. Fine. Next, we need to look at how the main idea has been presented and developed in the text. With every main idea, you will find 3 or 4 subordinate or associated ideas. So accordingly, we can form our subheadings once we are able to understand what is the main idea and what are the supporting or the subordinate or the associating ideas. Fine. While making notes, we need to relate only and only the important points. So if there is any information, or if there are points which are less important, ignore them. You need to be as brief and as specific as possible while making notes. Now, while making notes, we should leave out the examples and any other unnecessary details, because examples are just quoted in order to support any particular point already given. So we have to focus on that point, not the examples. Then we should systematically divide and subdivide the important information. After making this division, we need to write the points in logical sequence. Fine. Whenever we are making notes, we always write them in phrases or points only. We don't have to write the complete sentences, but we need to make sure that the information should be complete and it should be understandable. Indenting is very important. Why? Because it will differentiate between our subheadings and sub points. So indenting should be done properly. There should be suitable space given and numbering given for the various subheadings as far as the note making is concerned. Try leaving no space for ambiguity. Avoid adding your own interpretation. Whatever is mentioned in the passage, you have to just make notes based on that. You should not add any other information from your own side based on your analysis or interpretation of the passage. And very important, you have to ensure that you do not change the author's intended meaning. What exactly the author is trying to say, you need to make sure to make notes as per his intended meaning, not your own. And if you find there are often repeated terms, or if you find there are certain lengthy words, abbreviate them. But the abbreviation should be used in such a way that they should not hamper the comprehension. So these are a few things you need to keep in mind while making notes. Now, one thing is note making that we have been discussing till now, and one thing is note taking. There is a lot of difference between these two terms, right? At times they are used synonymously, but they are not. So first of all, we need to distinguish what exactly are these two terms and what are the differences between them, even though there are very small subtle differences. What exactly is note taking? Note taking is a passive process that involves taking down what is heard or read without actually processing the information. You are just noting down the words said or the words read. You are not processing any kind of information, right? It is just like copying something from the original source and rewriting it in a similar layout. This is what note taking is. And in this process of note taking, the notes which are being taken are often unselective and trying to cover as much of the information as possible without making any kind of difference between the main points, main issues and the subordinate issues. In note taking, main points are not highlighted. Main points are not differentiated from the subordinate points. But when we talk about note making, it is a more active and focused activity. Why? Because it helps your understanding of new material. Why? Because the notes are organized in your own way, in your own words. You are going to organize them. You are going to synchronize these notes as per your understanding. So, what you are doing as such in note making is, it is just an attempt to produce notes which are organized in such a way that make more sense. or that leads to more connections between these notes. So, note making, the actual purpose is to distinguish between the important issues and details with the unimportant ones. So, it makes easier for any particular person after reading the notes, because your purpose is to highlight the important issues, right? So, these are the differences between note taking and note making. In other words, we can also say that note making is considered to be the first stage of the process, and it should finally lead you to note making. Clear? Now, what are the various styles of note making that we are going to study now? This is now our actual exam point of view important topics. Note making. What is the purpose? It makes you to skim and scan through the available sources and to make note of the desired knowledge in such a form which is not only easy to write, easy to read, but also less theoretical, that we have just studied as one of the advantages of note making. So, there are various ways in which we can present our notes. Broadly, we divide them into two styles. One is linear style of note making and another is non-linear style of note making. Let us see them one by one. First of all, we'll be discussing about linear note making. Now, what exactly is linear note making? It is the simplest, and that is why the most common style of note making which is normally used by people. What exactly we do in this? In this form of note making, the notes are written down the page one line after the other in a structured manner. This is linear note making. These notes include mainly the headings, which convey the main ideas and the main concepts of the passage, and then it will include various subheadings, which are actually the main points within those ideas which we have expressed in the form of headings. Linear notes will include a use of keywords. They will include underlining, indentation, and use of abbreviations. We will discuss this, right? And just an example is given to us. How we are going to do linear note making, we'll see later in the chapter. This is what an example of linear note making is. For example, we have made the notes of the passage that we have studied till now. And what we have studied? Note making tips. This is the main idea of what we have studied till now. Clear? This is our main heading. This is our main title. Then we will number the notes. These A, B, C, these are called our subheadings, right? And to write the subheadings, then under A, we will write A.1, A.2. Similarly, B.1, B.2, B.3. These are the subheadings under the headings. And if we want to convey any further subheading in the form of additional information, then this is the additional information regarding A1. So we will write A.1.1, A.1.2. Similarly, it should have been A.2.1, A.2.2, and so on. Very importantly, try to see the indenting. ABC, the main headings are coming like this. If we are writing a subheading, we need to differentiate with the main heading. That is why, in order to give a good presentation, we have just given some spacing and then we wrote the subheadings. So you can see the subheadings A1, A2, B1, B2, B3, C1, and so on. They are coming down below each other. And if we want to convey the subheadings, once again they have been indented. After some space, we have written this A.1.1, A.1.2. So this indenting, this spacing is very important, because otherwise it will just be a mess. We will not be able to understand which one is the main heading, which one is the subheading, which is the sub-subheading. So this is what we need to do. So first subheading that we have given is reading. Now another important thing, very minute detail to relate, that when we are writing the subheading, in that case the first alphabet should be initial alphabet capital. For example, reading is our first subheading. Then planning, we have made P capital. Writing, we have written W capital. But when we are writing the subheadings, sub-subheadings, then in that case, we will not start with capital alphabet anywhere. All these are started with small alphabets. This is what you need to remember, right? So reading is our first subheading. Then under this, what we exactly have written is read twice. How and why? The first time to identify the main idea, and the second time to identify important points. Then UL, imp dot words. Now here we have seen important. Again the important word is repeated. So now what we have done is we have abbreviated IMP dot. Now this IMP dot stands for important. UL, we have used the acronym for underlining. Underline important words. This we are going to learn how to do it. You already have done, you already know it, but still we will learn later in the chapter. Right? Again, the second subheading is planning. Division to content according to, this according has been abbreviated. According to theme, importance, time. These are the subheadings. Then writing, this is the subheading. Writing subheadings about 3 to 4, use phrases, ignore unimportant info, indent and number of subheadings and subpoints is important. Then we'll be using abbreviations, abbreviate the long words or the often repeated words, use common symbols and acronyms. Fine. And after this, what exactly we'll do is we will write a key also, which is right now not given in the particular example. Key. What does this key mean? It gives you the all the abbreviations that you have used in the above notes. That we will learn, not an issue. So bottom line, on a very gross way, this is what exactly note making is, and this is how the notes look like. You see the presentation, the heading, the subheading, the sub-subheadings and the details. And the indenting part is quite important. Okay. So this is what linear note making is. Now let us come to the second type of note making, that is non-linear note making. What exactly non-linear note making is? It has various distinctive patterns. They present and connect the ideas in different forms which are not linear. These are non-linear forms or diagrammatical forms. Now these non-linear styles of note making include various things like mind maps, tables, flowcharts, tree diagrams, pie diagrams, so many ways. Now when we are using this non-linear technique, this has a number of advantages. Why? Because using these techniques, you are able to see a large amount of information on one page, and you are able to make connections and relations between the key concepts, which can be shown easily with the help of these non-linear styles of note making. We will study all these one by one. Let us see. First thing is mind mapping. Now this mind mapping is a visual representation of information. In this style, the ideas are presented in a diagram form. This mind map, very importantly, starts with the main concept, main idea, and then it branches out to the other concepts which are related to the main idea. Each of these main ideas and the subordinating ideas, they are comparable to the subheading and the details in linear note making. These mind maps can include images, they may include words or symbols or any other visual representations of the concepts. Right? Now, this additional information which is given in the text, it can be included easily, and this technique of mind mapping is of open-ended nature. We can make the pattern as we want. So, if this is open-ended, if we are able to make patterns on our own, then new connections can be made easily. But this comes with a lot of practice. It is not that much easy. Let us try to relate an example of mind mapping. Now this is a mind map, and here the creativity. There is no limit to creativity. You can use whichever way you want to do. Both words, figures, diagrams, representations, anything can be used. Right? Here, the main idea is this. This is health. We could have written just simple in a circle or in a box or in the form of a cloud. And here, it has been creative enough to be in the form of an apple. The shape is of an apple. Now, please try to relate from this health. These are the various branches which are given out. Now, these are the main ideas that are being given out related to health, and that is why these branches are made thick. Further, these branches are just subdividing, and again, subdivision is taking place, and the thickness. Please relate the thickness of these branches. Thickness shows that these are the subdivisions. Let us try to relate. First of all, health. The first related thing is stress. Now, when we are talking about the stress, what are the various ways of stress? It may be because of examination stress, or the work related stress, or the relationship stress. Now, this is just an example given. If we are talking about stress, these are the various causes. Right? So you can express in terms of these boxes, circles, right, or clouds. You can form any type of cloud to express your ideas. Here, just in order to give you an idea of what possible mind maps may be, that is why this broken heart or this book, etc., they are made. It's not necessary that you are going to make it. Talking about the causes of stress, then what are the various effects of stress? It makes you cry. It leads to various medical ailments like diarrhea or insomnia. It will make you anxious. So what exactly are the solutions related to stress? Solutions are relaxation. You can relieve your stress with the help of relaxation, either by yoga or meditation or deep breathing. You can also remove your stress by doing exercise or by setting your goals. You can remove your stress by avoiding the various negative things like smoking or alcohol or caffeine. Now, this all part is related to stress, in which we have discussed about the causes of stress, the effects of stress, and the solutions of stress. Next thing is, in order to remain healthy, this is the next main idea: exercise. How you can do exercise? You can do warm up. If you are talking about aerobic, then you can ride a bicycle, or you can walk on treadmill. If you are related to the toning or strengthening yourself, then in that case you need to go smoothly and it will not cause any pain. You can also increase your flexibility and stretching exercises you can do, right? Apart from exercise, what else you need to require is proper sleep. If you are not able to sleep properly, it will be hard for you to concentrate. You will make more mistakes. You will be under stress. These are the consequences if you are not sleeping properly. You will be suffering from insomnia, right? Now, this sleep is actually including 33% of our life. And for proper sleeping, what are the tips? No smoking, sleep at regular hours, do regular exercise, and have a comfortable mattress. So this all is one thought related to sleep. This all is one thought related to exercising. What type of diet makes us healthy? We need to have the fruits and the vegetables. Wide variety can be used. They contain vitamins A, C, E, etc. Food should be low in fat. It should contain more fiber. And talking about the breads and cereals, it should be whole grain. So this is the type of diet which we should relate in order to remain healthy. And in case you are not healthy, help. Who can help you? A nutrition assistant or a dietitian or a doctor. So this is who are going to help you to remain healthy. So this is what exactly a mind map is. And you see how creative way has been used to make it, and so much of information just in half page. Maybe if you are going to just a bit expand it, it will take one page, but you have taken so much of information which can be displayed with the help of this mind map in just one page. This is one way of making notes. These are non-linear styles. Got it? Another way of making non-linear notes is through tables. Table is the most commonly used when we are making comparisons or when we are differentiating between any two things. Since your childhood, since your early classes, you have been using these tables for differentiating between any two things. And this form of note making, of making tables, is extremely simple and very effective way in order to present differences or similarities with clarity. Let us see. This is a table which is differentiating between linear note making and non-linear note making. Just putting a line in between, writing the points, one here, two here, three here, four here, five here. We know that these are the various differences. Linear node making, connections between ideas are clear, whereas in non-linear, connection between ideas are here also they are clear. But the linear node making is not very visually appealing. Linear one is very visually appealing. In linear, it is very difficult to add information later. But in non-linear, you can add it normally very easily. Linear is structured and made using a format. Non-linear is not very structured and there is no fixed format. It all depends on your way. It all depends on your creativity. It all depends on your perspective. So this is one way of making non-linear notes, right? That is by using tables, mainly done to present the differences and similarity between any two points. Third type of non-linear note-making style is making flowcharts. This also you have done and made so many times, and this really helps you a lot in learning. And just easing your process of making notes of the complex text. This flowchart is of course a very useful form of notes, and it is best used when a process or a change over time needs to be depicted. Now this flowchart mainly has steps which are shown in boxes, and they are connected by arrows. These arrows will give us an idea about the sequence of events or the sequence of the processes which are taking place. Taking an example of a flow chart. Now this is an example of a typical flow chart, right? First of all, in a box, we have written the customer fills up the application form in the prescribed manner. After filling, we have showed with the help of the arrow what is the next step in this process. Now customer must have to sign or Spedman signature card. After that, letter of introduction is required for individual customer. After that, bank official will scrutinize the introduction and examines the documents which are submitted. After that, the initial deposit must be in the form of cash. No check or draft is acceptable to the bank. After that, then bank official is issuing a checkbook for the customer, and now the account is ready for operation. So these arrows are telling us, number one, very importantly, in which sequence these processes should take place. Clear? So this is the advantage of a flow chart, that whenever there is a process going on, then in that case we can show that process with the help of these arrows, and that is why they become very useful in presenting the information. Clear? Next types are the tree diagrams. Now what are tree diagrams? Tree diagrams, if turned upside down, resembles a tree. They are used to show the classification, the bifurcation, the division. Let us try to understand with the help of an example. This is a tree diagram in which we have one main idea above, which is bifurcated or classified into different ideas. Then they are further classified into different ideas. So this is how the various branches, the various points, the various divisions are made. You have been doing it so many times in all the subjects. You have done it, right? Talking about science, when you were studying in ninth and 10th class, then brain, midbrain, hindbrain, forebrain, then hindbrain also consisting of cerebellum and pons and all, right? Similarly, all these, the coordination system or the digestive system, this is what we have been making to show the classification. For example, in this case, the main heading is bank career hierarchy. There is a junior management, there is a middle management, there is a senior management, and there is a top management in the bank where career can be formed. In junior management, we have got clerks and officers. In the middle management, we have got manager and the senior manager. In the senior management comes the chief manager and the assistant general manager. And in the top management, we have got the deputy general manager, CFOs, that is the chief financial officer, CEO, that is the chief executive officer, and the president. So now, just after looking at this, things become so simple, right? And this is what exactly is the advantage of making this tree diagram. This is also one of the styles of linear note making. So these four styles we have studied. We have studied about these tree diagrams. We have studied about these flowcharts. We have studied about these tables and the mind mappings. And this is not all. We have so many other ways. The graphs, they are also a form of non-linear node making. We can present the data in the form of graphs. Pie diagrams, pie charts, they are also the non-linear style of note making. Clear? So this is all about our non-linear style, and this is where we are going to end our this lecture, right? You need to go through, you need to relate and understand the various things taught in this lecture, including the note making, what exactly are the purposes or the objectives for which note making is done, what are the various advantages for which note making is done, very importantly, the various strategies you need to keep in mind while making notes. Then we talked about the various styles. There are two styles of note making. One is linear style and one is non-linear style. In today's lecture, we discussed the various types of non-linear styles, which were the mind mapping, making the tables, making the flow charts, making the tree diagrams, and others also which we have not yet studied, about the pie diagrams, about the graphs, etc. So these are unconventional non-linear styles of note making. Clear? Now in the next session, we'll be discussing at length about the linear style, because that is more important when it comes to your exams for which we are actually studying. This is what you can understand, relate, and implement in your practical day-to-day life for any subject, for any topic, for any text. Clear? So this is going to help you there. For examination perspective, we need to understand the linear note making that will be taking up in the next session. Right? So till then, take care of yourself. Make sure that you read and understand whatever is being taught today. And I hope that you have understood all the contents. Just by going through once again, you will be able to retain them as well. Got it? So we'll meet you in the next class with the linear style of note making, how that is done, how the data is presented, how abbreviations are formed, and all the rest of the details associated with it. So till the next class, take care of yourself, stay happy, stay healthy, have a great day, have a great time.